The stars shone brightly against the dark void of space. A large ship moved slowly through the emptiness. Its hull was smooth and silver, reflecting the distant light of Earth's sun. This was the Orcs ambassador vessel, sent to make first contact with the humans. "We have entered the human defense perimeter," said Navigator Velmak. His blue skin wrinkled with concern as he looked at the ship's sensors. Supreme Envoy Krintol nodded. "Send the greeting message on all frequencies. Let the humans know we come in peace." The Orcs had watched Earth for many years. Their long-range scans showed a planet full of life and technology. The Orcs Collective ruled 3 spiral arms of the galaxy. They believed it was time to welcome humans into their family of worlds. But something went wrong. On Earth, Admiral Tai-1 Kim stared at his screen with growing worry. The large alien ship had crossed into the defense zone without warning. Computer systems flashed red alerts. "Sir, the unidentified vessel is not responding to standard hails," said his second-in-command. Admiral Kim pressed a button on his desk. "This is Earth Defense Command. Unknown vessel, please identify yourself and state your purpose." Static filled the channel. Then came a series of strange sounds and clicks. "Sir, our computers can't decode their message," said the communications officer. "The signal pattern is overloading our systems." What the humans didn't know was that the Orcs communicated with complex quantum signals. Their simple greeting was causing Earth's defense computers to crash. The automatic defense systems took over. When computers fail, they default to protection mode. Admiral Kim's eyes widened in horror. "No, override the system. That's a first contact situation." But it was too late. Earth's orbital defense platforms locked onto the alien ship and fired. Across the solar system, Chief Diplomat Juri Park was woken by an urgent call. "Madam Park, we have an emergency," said the voice on the other end. "There's been an incident with an alien vessel." Juri sat up quickly. "What kind of incident?" "Our defense systems destroyed it. We think it was trying to communicate." Her blood ran cold. "Get me everything we have on this, and call an emergency meeting of the Defense Council." 3 days later, strange arrays appeared at the edge of the solar system. Massive structures of unknown metal and crystal. They began broadcasting a message in perfect English. "Humans of Earth, you have committed an act of war against the Orcs Collective. Your unprovoked destruction of our peaceful embassy ship has been recorded. Your species has proven itself dangerous and unworthy of galactic citizenship. You will be contained. You will be subdued. Prepare yourselves." Admiral Kim and Diplomat Park stood side by side in the command center, watching the message repeat. "How many?" asked Juri quietly. "Our long-range scans show over 10,000 ships gathering beyond Neptune," answered Tai-1. "More arriving every hour. It's the largest fleet ever recorded." Juri closed her eyes briefly. "And our fleet?" 200 ships, if we pull in everything from the Mars and Jupiter colonies." The room fell silent as the numbers sank in. Humanity was outnumbered 50-1. "It was a misunderstanding," whispered Juri. "We need to make them understand that." Admiral Kim's face hardened. "They're not coming to talk, Juri. They're coming to wipe us out." The emergency broadcast system activated across Earth. As citizens looked up at their screens, they saw the grim face of the United Earth President. "People of Earth, we face our greatest challenge. An alien force approaches our world. They believe we have attacked them without cause. We must prepare for the possibility of war. May whatever gods you believe in have mercy on us all." The fleet of the Orcs Collective readied for war. Humanity had only days to find a solution, or face extinction. The United Earth Defense Council met in the large underground room beneath New Geneva. 50 men and women sat around a round table. Their faces showed fear and worry. Screens on the walls showed the growing Orcs fleet. More alien ships arrived every hour. Admiral Tai-1 Kim stood to speak. "The Orcs fleet will reach Earth in 5 days. We must decide now how to respond. General Hejum Lee slammed his fist on the table. We fight. Gather every ship we have. Set up all planetary defenses. We will show these aliens that humans will not surrender easily. Murmurs of agreement spread through the room. Many council members nodded. Diplomat Jewry Park spoke next. Fighting is suicide. They outnumber us 50-1. We need to try talking again. Make them understand it was a mistake. They're not listening, said Admiral Kim. We've sent 17 messages, all ignored. Professor Jayun Kang raised her hand. She was small and quiet, but everyone respected her knowledge of alien languages. I think there's a cultural misunderstanding. My team studied the Korax message patterns. They'd value strength above all. They see our attempts to explain as weakness. The room grew silent. So we must appear strong to be heard, said the council president. But how? We cannot match their numbers. General Lee pointed to a battle plan on his screen. We position our fleet here, near Mars. Use the planet's magnetic field for cover. Hit them with everything we have. Admiral Kim shook his head. It would be a brave last stand, but still a last stand. Earth would be defenseless after. The door at the back of the room opened. A tall man with gray hair walked in. Director Sang-Hoon Choi rarely attended council meetings. As head of the Advanced Technology Division, he spent most of his time in secret labs. I may have a solution, he said. All eyes turned to him. Not a fleet, just one ship. Laughter erupted around the table. One ship against 10,000. General Lee scoffed. That's not a plan. That's suicide. Director Choi remained calm. Not just any ship, the UES Peacemaker. The room grew quiet again. The Peacemaker was humanity's newest and most advanced vessel. Built in secret, few knew its true capabilities. What can one ship do? Asked the council president. Director Choi touched a button on his wrist device. A hologram appeared above the table. It showed a complex machine. This is the Quantum Diplomatic Interface, the QDI. My team developed it to bridge the gap between different types of minds. It creates a field where true understanding becomes possible. Professor Kang leaned forward, eyes wide. You solved the translation matrix. We did, said Director Choi. But it needs to be close to the Korax command ship to work. One ship could slip through their lines. A fleet would never make it. General Lee stood up. So your plan is to send our best ship, alone, into the heart of the enemy fleet. To talk. To understand, corrected Director Choi. And to be understood. War comes from fear and misunderstanding. Remove those, and peace becomes possible. Admiral Kim looked thoughtful. Who would captain such a mission? Commander Do Hyun Yoon, said Director Choi without hesitation. He's the best we have. The name caused a stir. Commander Yoon was a hero from the Mars Rebellion. Brilliant but unpredictable. The council president called for a vote. All those in favor of the single ship plan. Hands rose slowly around the table. Not everyone, but enough. It's decided then, said the president. We will prepare our defenses as a precaution, but the Peacemaker will be our main hope. Director Choi, contact Commander Yoon immediately. As the meeting ended, Jewry Park approached Director Choi. Do you really believe this can work? The old scientist looked at the hologram of the approaching fleet. It must work, Jewry, or there won't be a humanity left to save. Outside, the sky darkened as night fell. People looked up at the stars, not knowing that among them, an alien armada was coming. Their fate now rested on a single ship and its crew. The UES Peacemaker sat in the hidden dock beneath the lunar surface. Workers swarmed around it like busy ants. They had only 3 days to get the ship ready. Lights flashed as they installed new systems and tested equipment. Commander Do Hyun Yoon stood at the viewing platform. His dark eyes watched every detail of the work. At 42 years old, he had seen more battles than most. A scar ran from his right eye to his jaw, a reminder of the Mars Rebellion. Quite a ship, isn't it? Said a voice behind him. Do-hyun turned to see director Sang-hoon Choi. It's impressive. Will it be ready in time? It has to be, said the director. Have you chosen your crew? Do-hyun nodded. 4 people, the best in their fields. Only 4. The director looked surprised. The Peacemaker can hold 20. Smaller crew means less chance of discovery, explained Do-hyun, and fewer lives at risk. The 2 men walked toward the ship. Its sleek black hull absorbed the light. Unlike other Earth ships, it had no visible weapons. Its design was smooth and simple. This helped it avoid detection. The QDI is installed in the central chamber, said the director. Dr. Hyunwoo Jang will join you to operate it. He designed the system. Do-hyun frowned. I didn't approve a scientist. You don't have a choice. No one else knows how to use the QDI properly. Before Do-hyun could argue, 4 people walked toward them. His chosen crew, +1. Lieutenant Min Seo-buk came first. She was 35, with short black hair and alert eyes. The best tactical officer in the fleet. She had served with Do-hyun for 7 years. Commander, she greeted him with a nod. The ship's defensive systems are at 90%. Next came Engineer Sung-min Koo, tall and thin with hands that never stopped moving. He could fix anything. People joked that he could build a spaceship from scrap metal and tape. The engines are ready, sir, said Sung-min. I've boosted the stealth system by 30%. Communications specialist Yeon-ji Ryu stood quietly behind them. She was the youngest at 28. Her file mentioned unusual empathic abilities. She could sense emotions and intentions better than any human Do-hyun had met. The communication array is ready, Commander, she said softly. The last man was clearly Dr. Jang. He carried a tablet computer and looked at the ship with pride. At 50, he was the oldest crew member. Commander Yoon, he said, extending his hand. I look forward to showing you the QDI. It will change how we interact with alien minds forever. Do-hyun shook the doctor's hand briefly. This is a military mission, Doctor, not a science experiment. It's both, said Director Choi, and possibly humanity's last hope. The group boarded the ship. Inside, the Peacemaker was just as impressive. Clean corridors led to a central command room. In the middle sat a strange device. It looked like a silver sphere surrounded by floating rings. The Quantum Diplomatic Interface, said Dr. Jang proudly. It creates a field where minds can truly connect, beyond language. Min Seo looked skeptical, and it will make the Koraks understand we didn't mean to attack them. If we get close enough to their command ship, said Dr. Jang. The field has limited range. Do-hyun walked to the captain's chair. He pressed a button, and screens lit up around him. Our mission is simple but nearly impossible. We must slit past 10,000 enemy ships, reach their commander, and convince them not to destroy our world. And if we can't convince them? Asked Sung-min. Do-hyun's face turned grim. Then Earth falls. This ship carries the hopes of 9 billion people. Yeon-ji touched the QDI gently. I can feel it humming. It's alive in a way. Not alive, corrected Dr. Jang, but connected to the quantum field that links all consciousness. Director Choi stepped back toward the exit. You launch in 12 hours. The fate of humanity rests with you 5 now. As the director left, the 5 crew members looked at each other. They were strangers united by an impossible mission. In 3 days, they would either save their world or witness its end. Do-hyun sat in the captain's chair. Let's get to work. The Peacemaker left Earth's moon under cover of darkness. No lights shone from its black hull. The rest of Earth's small fleet moved to defensive positions around the planet. This would draw the Koraks' attention away from the lone ship. Stealth systems at full power, said Engineer Sung-min as his fingers moved across the control panel. We are invisible to standard sensors. Commander Do-hyun nodded. Set course for the edge of the solar system. Maximum speed once we clear the lunar orbit. The ship accelerated smoothly. Soon, Earth was just a blue dot behind them. Ahead lay the vast emptiness of space, and somewhere in that darkness, 10,000 enemy ships. Lieutenant Min Seo studied the tactical display. The Corax fleet has formed a blockade at the edge of Neptune's orbit. We'll reach them in 14 hours. How do we get through that many ships? Asked communications specialist Yunji. Her voice was calm, but her eyes showed fear. Like a needle through cloth, said Du-hyun. We find a gap and slip through. Our stealth technology should hide us. Dr. Zhang worked on the QDI in the central chamber. The interface needs more power. Engineer Ku, can you redirect energy from non-essential systems? Sung Min frowned. What systems do you consider non-essential, Doctor? Comfort systems, extra lighting, secondary life support. Secondary life support is our backup if main systems fail, said Sung Min sharply. That's not non-essential. Do-hyun raised his hand to stop the argument. We need both the stealth systems and the QDI. Find a balance, gentlemen. The hours passed slowly. The crew ate a quiet meal together. No one spoke much. Each person thought about the mission ahead, about Earth, about family left behind. Finally, Min Seo called out, Commander, we're approaching the Corax blockade. First line of ships visible on sensors. Everyone moved to their stations. Du-hyun sat in the captain's chair. Slow to 1/4 speed. Yunji, monitor all communication channels. If they detect us, we need to know immediately. The view screen showed the massive Corax ships. They were twice the size of Earth's largest vessels. Their hulls were covered with strange marks and lights, hundreds of them spread out in a wall across space. There, said Min Seo, pointing to the display, a gap between patrol groups. If we time it right, we can pass through. Do-hyun nodded. Take us in, Lieutenant. The peacemaker moved slowly toward the gap. Everyone held their breath. Then an alarm sounded. A patrol ship is changing course, said Min Seo urgently. They're moving to cover the gap. Have they seen us? Asked Do-hyun. Yeonji shook her head. No alert messages on their channels. It seems to be a routine patrol change. We need a distraction, said Do-hyun. He thought quickly. Sung Min, can you create a small energy pulse behind that moon? Something to draw their attention. The engineer nodded. Yes, but it will take power from our stealth systems for a moment. Do it. Sung Min worked quickly. A small probe launched from the peacemaker. It moved behind a distant moon and then released a burst of energy. Corax ships are responding, said Min Seo. They're sending 2 vessels to investigate. Now's our chance, said Do-hyun. Full speed through the gap. The peacemaker surged forward. They passed between 2 massive Corax warships, close enough to see details of their alien design. But as they cleared the first line of defense, a sensor beeped loudly. We've been scanned, shouted Min Seo. A deep space patrol has locked onto us. Evasive maneuvers, ordered Do-hyun. The ship banked sharply. A beam of energy passed close by. The Corax had fired on them. Return fire, asked Min Seo. Do-hyun shook his head. No, that would confirm we're hostile. Sung Min, more power to engines. We need to outrun them. The peacemaker accelerated, pushing the crew back in their seats. Behind them, 3 Corax patrol ships gave chase. They're gaining on us, said Min Seo. Do-hyun looked at his tactical officer. Any ideas, Lieutenant? Min Seo studied the sensor readings carefully. Then she smiled. Yes, Commander. I have a plan. There's an asteroid field ahead, Min Seo said, pointing to the screen. It's dense and unpredictable. The Corax ships are larger than ours. They won't follow us in there. Do-hyun understood immediately. Do it. Set course for the asteroid field. The peacemaker changed direction sharply. Behind them, the 3 Corax patrol ships fired again. A beam grazed the ship's rear section. Minor damage to the outer hull, reported Sungmin. No critical systems affected. The ship entered the asteroid field. Massive rocks floated in space, some as large as mountains. Do-hyun took manual control, guiding the Peacemaker through narrow gaps. The ship twisted and turned, barely missing the giant stones. "The Korax ships have stopped at the edge of the field," said Min-seo with a smile. "They're not following." The crew let out a sigh of relief, but their victory was short-lived. "Commander," called Sungmin. "The QDI was damaged in that last hit. Power fluctuations in the main system." Dr. Jang hurried to the central chamber where the QDI sat. The silver sphere flickered with blue light. "This is bad. Very bad. The quantum alignment is destabilizing." "Can you fix it?" asked Do-hyun. "Yes, but I need time. And parts." Dr. Jang looked worried. Do-hyun made a quick decision. "We'll hide in the asteroid field while you make repairs." "How long?" 6 hours, minimum. The ship settled in the shadow of a large asteroid. While Dr. Jang and Sungmin worked on the QDI, Yeonji monitored Korax communications. "Commander," she called, "I'm picking up interesting transmissions. The Korax aren't a single species. They're a collection of different alien races." Do-hyun joined her at the communication station. "What are they saying?" "Most messages are in code, but I'm getting emotional tones. Some sound eager for war. Others seem hesitant." Yeonji adjusted her equipment. "There's disagreement among them." "That could be useful," said Do-hyun. "If they're not united, we might find allies." Min-seo called from her station. "Commander, I've identified the Korax command carrier. It's called the Dominion, massive ship at the center of the fleet." Do-hyun studied the image on screen. The Dominion was enormous, 10 times the size of the Peacemaker. Its strange design looked like a city floating in space. "That's our target," he said. "Once the QDI is repaired, we need to get aboard that ship." Yeonji looked shocked. "Aboard? I thought we would just get close enough to use the QDI." "The interface needs direct contact for best results," said Dr. Jang, entering the command room. "We need to be inside their command ship." "How do we do that without getting blown up?" asked Min-seo. Do-hyun's face was serious. "We surrender." The room fell silent. Everyone stared at their commander. "Surrender?" Sungmin finally asked. "That's the plan." "We approach under a white flag," explained Do-hyun. "Request to speak directly with their leader. Once inside, we activate the QDI." Dr. Jang nodded slowly. "It could work, but the QDI is still damaged. I need more time." As they talked, Yeonji suddenly grabbed her head. Her face showed pain. "What's wrong?" asked Min-seo, moving to help her. "Their minds," whispered Eunji. "I can feel them. The Korax. They're different." Dr. Jang looked fascinated. "What do you mean?" "They don't experience time like we do. For them, past and present happen together. That's why they're so angry. To them, our attack on their ship is still happening, over and over." Dr. Jang's eyes widened. "Of course. Their neural patterns must process time differently. That's why communication failed. This is crucial information for the QDI." Do-hyun looked at Yeonji with concern. "Can you block them out? We need you focused." She nodded slowly. "I'll try, Commander." Sungmin called from the engine room. "Commander, I've fixed the propulsion system, but the QDI needs a special part. We might find it in a damaged section of the ship." "I'll go with you," said Do-hyun. Before leaving, he turned to Min-seo. "Lieutenant, plan our approach to the Dominion. We move as soon as repairs are complete." As Do-hyun and Sungmin walked through the narrow corridors of the ship, the engineer asked quietly, "Do you think this can really work, sir? One ship against their entire fleet?" Do-hyun paused. "It has to work, Sungmin, because there's one thing humans have that the Korax don't." "What's that, sir?" "Hope. Even against impossible odds, we never give up hope. The Peacemaker left the safety of the asteroid field. Its engines glowed softly as it moved toward the massive Corax fleet. The small human ship broadcast a simple message on all channels. "This is Commander Do-hyun Universe. We come to speak with your leader. We surrender ourselves freely to prevent war." Inside the ship, the crew waited in tense silence. The QDI had been repaired, but no one knew if it would work properly. "Corax ships are moving," reported Mincio. "They're forming around us. No weapons fired yet." A message came through their communication system. The alien voice sounded harsh and mechanical through the translator. "Human vessel, you will be brought to the Dominion. Any hostile action will result in immediate destruction." Do-hyun nodded to Yunji. "Tell them we understand and accept." 4 large Corax ships surrounded the Peacemaker. A blue light enveloped the human ship. It pulled them toward the massive Dominion. "They're using some kind of tractor beam," said Sungmin. "Our engines are useless now." Do-hyun gathered his crew in the central chamber. "Remember the plan. Yunji and I will go with the Corax. The rest of you stay with the ship and protect the QDI. If we're separated, Dr. Jang knows when to activate it." "What if they just kill you on sight?" asked Mincio, her face showing rare emotion. "They won't," said Do-hyun. "They want to make an example of us first. That's our only chance." The Peacemaker was pulled into a massive docking bay inside the Dominion. Hundreds of Corax soldiers waited, weapons ready. They looked both insect-like and reptilian, with blue-green skin and 4 arms. Their eyes glowed yellow in the dim light. The ship's door opened. Do-hyun and Yunji walked out with their hands raised. Immediately, Corax guards surrounded them. They were marched through long corridors, passing strange machines and alien beings of different shapes and sizes. "So many different species," whispered Yunji, "all part of the collective." They entered a vast chamber. In the center sat a massive Corax on a raised platform. His skin was darker than the others, almost black. 6 guards stood around him. "Imperator Vaxlor," announced a Corax official. "The human representatives." The Imperator's yellow eyes studied them coldly. "You attacked our peaceful vessel, killed our envoys, and now you surrender. Humans are as cowardly as they are violent." Do-hyun stepped forward. A guard pushed him back roughly. "It was a mistake," said Do-hyun firmly. "A tragic misunderstanding. Our defense systems didn't understand your communication method." The Imperator made a sound like harsh laughter. "A convenient excuse. Your kind spreads like a disease across your solar system. You would eventually threaten the collective. We will stop you before that happens." Yunji suddenly gasped. Her empathic abilities were overloaded by the alien minds around her. "They're going to execute us," she whispered to Do-hyun. "Make an example before attacking Earth." Do-hyun had expected this. "Imperator, by Corax law, don't we deserve a fair hearing? A chance to prove our words?" The Imperator seemed surprised. "You know our laws. We study your transmissions. We respect your culture and wish to understand it better." This caused murmurs among the Corax officials. The Imperator leaned forward. "Understanding will not save your world, human. But you may speak before your execution. It changes nothing." Back on the Peacemaker, Dr. Jang watched through a small drone that Yunji had hidden in her pocket. He saw that the time had come. "Activate the QDI," he told Sungmin. "Full power." Sungmin pressed his hands on the control panel. "What about the commander's signal?" "No time. They're about to be executed." The silver sphere in the center of the ship began to spin. The rings around it moved faster and faster. A blue light pulsed outward, invisible to normal eyes, but spreading through quantum space. In the great chamber, both humans and Corax froze as the QDI field washed over them. Yunji felt it first. Her mind suddenly connected with the aliens around her. Not just surface thoughts, but deep understanding. The Imperator roared in surprise and anger. He felt the strange energy too. "What is this human trick?" he demanded. But even as he spoke, his mind was opening to the connection. For the first time, humans and Corax could truly see each other, and what they saw changed everything. The great chamber fell silent. The QDI field surrounded everyone, creating a bridge between minds. Yunji felt it most strongly. Her empathic abilities made her the perfect conduit. "I can see them," she whispered. "Their thoughts, their history, their fears." Do-hyun felt it too, though less clearly. The Corax weren't evil. They were afraid. They had seen other species rise quickly and bring destruction. They thought they were protecting the galaxy from humans. Imperator Vaxler stood up suddenly. "Stop this invasion of our minds," he ordered, but even as he spoke, his thoughts revealed doubt. A younger Corax officer stepped forward. Unlike the others, his skin was lighter blue. His name came into Yunji's mind. Trelvik. "Imperator," said Trelvik, "I feel their truth. The humans did not mean to attack our ship." "Silence," roared the Imperator. "This is human trickery." But other Corax were now whispering among themselves. The QDI was working. Understanding was spreading. Yunji walked toward Trelvik, ignoring the guards. They did not stop her. The connection between her and the young Corax officer was strong. "You have doubted this war from the beginning," she said softly. "You believe in peace." Trelvik's yellow eyes widened. "How can you know this?" "The same way I know that your people value honor above all, that you resolve conflicts through ritual combat, that your society believes strength must be proven, not just claimed." The Imperator watched with growing anger. "Enough. Guards, take the humans back to their ship. We will execute them properly after the invasion begins." But the guards did not move immediately. The QDI field had affected them too. Meanwhile, on the Peacemaker, Min Seo made an important discovery. "Commander," she said through the hidden communication device, "I found evidence in the Corax transmissions. The first contact was sabotage." "What do you mean?" asked Do-hyun quietly. "Someone changed the greeting message sent by the Corax ship, made it damage our systems on purpose. It was designed to provoke a response from our defense network." Back in the chamber, Do-hyun processed this information. Then he made a bold decision. "Imperator Vaxler," he called out loudly, "I challenge you to Kortak." The chamber erupted in shocked sounds. Even Trelvik looked stunned. "How does this human know of Kortak?" demanded a Corax elder. The Imperator glared at Do-hyun. "You dare to challenge me to ritual combat. You know nothing of our ways." "I know enough," said Do-hyun. "The QDI shows us your traditions. Kortak is how the Corax settle disputes of honor. This is a dispute of honor." Yunji looked worried. She had seen in the Corax minds what Kortak involved. It was dangerous, possibly fatal. The Imperator laughed harshly. "Very well, human. I accept your challenge. When you die by my hand, your world's fate will be sealed." Trelvik moved closer to Yunji. "Your commander takes a great risk. The Imperator has never lost Kortak. Is there any way he can win?" she asked quietly. "No human has the strength to defeat the Imperator. But," he hesitated, "if your commander shows extraordinary courage, it might sway the council." The Corax guards led Do-hyun to a circular area in the center of the chamber. The Imperator removed his formal armor, revealing powerful muscles. He was twice Do-hyun's size. "The rules of Kortak are simple," announced an elder Corax. "The combat ends when one fighter cannot continue or surrenders. There are no weapons, only strength and skill." Do-hyun removed his jacket. The scar on his face seemed more pronounced now. He looked small compared to the massive Imperator. Yunji used the connection with Trelvik to send a message to the Peacemaker. "Min Seo, find the evidence of sabotage. We need proof to show the council." On the ship, Min Seo and some men worked frantically to trace the corrupted signal. Dr. Jiang maintained the QDI field at full power. In the chamber, the Imperator and Du Hyun faced each other. The fate of Earth hung in the balance. "Begin," called the Elder. The Imperator charged forward with frightening speed. The Imperator charged like a bull. His four arms reached for Du Hyun, ready to crush him. Du Hyun waited until the last second, then stepped aside quickly. The Imperator missed him by inches. The crowd of Korax officials watched with interest. They had expected the human to fall immediately. "Humans are weak but fast," muttered one Korax elder. Do Hyun knew he could not match the Imperator's strength. His only chance was to use the alien size against him. He moved constantly, staying just out of reach. "Stand still and fight properly," roared the Imperator. His yellow eyes burned with anger. "I am fighting," replied Du Hyun calmly, "just not the way you expect." This made the Imperator even angrier. He charged again. This time, one of his hands caught Du Hyun's arm. The grip was like iron. Du Hyun winced in pain. Yeonji watched nervously. Through her connection with Trelvik, she felt the young Korax's surprise. "Your commander fights strangely," said Trelvik, "but effectively." "Humans adapt," said Yeonji. "It's what we do best." In the fighting circle, Du Hyun twisted and broke free from the Imperator's grip. He landed a quick strike to the alien side. It hardly seemed to affect the massive Korax. The Imperator laughed. "Your attacks are like a child's." But Du Hyun had noticed something. The Imperator was slowing down. Each charge took more effort. The human's strategy was working. He was tiring the bigger fighter. Meanwhile, on the Peacemaker, Min Seo made a breakthrough. "I found it," she said excitedly. The sabotage came from within the Korax collective, from a group called the Purists. "Can you send the evidence to Yeonji?" asked Dr. Jiang. "Already doing it. The QDI field makes data transfer possible too." Back in the chamber, Yeonji received the information. She quickly shared it with Trelvik through their mental connection. "This is serious," said Trelvik, his eyes widening. "The Purists are a secret group who believe no other species should join the collective. They want to keep power for themselves. We need to show this to everyone," said Yeonji. "Can you help?" Trelvik hesitated only briefly. "Yes, it's the right thing to do." In the fighting circle, the battle continued. Du Hyun was bleeding from cuts on his face and arms. The Imperator had landed several blows, but the massive alien was breathing heavily now. "You cannot win, human," said the Imperator between breaths. "I will break you eventually." "Perhaps," said Du Hyun, "but not before you learn something about humans." The Imperator charged again. This time, Du Hyun didn't dodge completely. Instead, he moved inside the alien's reach and struck at precise points. Joints and pressure points he had learned about through the QDI field. The Imperator roared in pain and surprise. One of his arms hung limply at his side. The crowd murmured in shock. No one had ever disabled the Imperator's arm before. Across the chamber, Trelvik had connected his personal device to the main display system. With Yeonji's help, he prepared to show the evidence of sabotage. "Now," said Yeonji. The large screens around the chamber suddenly lit up. They showed transmission data, command codes, and messages between Purist members. The evidence was clear. The first contact had been deliberately corrupted to start a war. The chamber erupted in shouts and accusations. Several Korax officials moved away from others, their guilt obvious in their minds through the QDI field. In the fighting circle, the Imperator had Du Hyun pinned to the ground. His three working arms held the human down. Du Hyun could barely breathe. "Look at the screens, Imperator," gasped Du Hyun. "Your own people betrayed you, betrayed the collective." The Imperator turned his head. As he saw the evidence, his grip loosened slightly. Du Hyun could have used that moment to strike a painful blow. The QDI had shown him where Korax were most vulnerable. One good hit might knock the Imperator unconscious. Instead, Du Hyun said quietly, I yield. The Imperator looked down in shock. What? I surrender the match, said Du Hyun. I will not win through deception, as others have tried to do to both our peoples. The chamber fell silent. In Korak's culture, no one had ever surrendered when they still had a chance to fight. It was unheard of. The Imperator stared at the human beneath him, confusion clear in his yellow eyes. The chamber remained silent. The Imperator still held Du Hyun pinned to the ground, but his grip had loosened. You surrender? Asked the Imperator. His voice was confused. When you could still fight? Yes, said Du Hyun, because this fight should never have happened. We were both tricked. The Imperator looked at the screens again. The evidence against the purists was clear. He slowly released Du Hyun and stood up. In 10,000 years of Korak's history, no one has ever surrendered a Kortak when they could still fight, he said. Du Hyun got to his feet. His body ached from the battle. Humans understand that sometimes not fighting is the greatest strength. The QDI field was still active. Through it, the Imperator could feel the truth in Du Hyun's words. He could see that humans valued peace, even when they were capable of war. Trelvik stepped forward. Imperator, the purists have betrayed the collective. They wanted war because they fear what humans might become. And what is that? Asked the Imperator. Equals, said Yeonji. Partners. Friends. The Korak's council members were arguing loudly now. Some demanded immediate punishment for the purists. Others called for more investigation. A few still wanted to attack Earth. The Imperator raised all four of his arms. The chamber went quiet again. Bring the other humans here, he ordered. All of them. Guards went to the Peacemaker. Soon, Min Seo, Sung Min, and Dr. Jang joined Du Hyun and Yeonji in the chamber. Dr. Jang looked around in wonder. The QDI is working perfectly. Better than I ever imagined. The Imperator studied the 5 humans carefully. They were small, physically weak compared to the Koraks. Yet they had shown courage, intelligence, and honor. Your single ship came to prevent a war, said the Imperator, while our fleet of 10,000 prepared to destroy your world. Which is the greater show of strength? The council members murmured among themselves. This was a new way of thinking for many of them. Imperator, said an elder Korax, what is your decision regarding Earth? All eyes turned to Vaxler. The QDI field allowed the humans to sense his thoughts. He was torn between tradition and a new understanding. Finally, he spoke. The attack on Earth is cancelled. The purists will be brought to justice. He turned to Du Hyun. Your surrender has taught the Koraks something new about strength. Relief washed over the human crew. Earth was safe. Commander Yoon, continued the Imperator, the Kortak has ended in a way no one expected. It is neither victory nor defeat, but something new. Perhaps this is what our peoples need, a new way forward. Do Hyun bowed his head respectfully. My people are ready for peace. Dr. Jang stepped forward. The QDI can be adapted for permanent use. It could help our species understand each other better. The Imperator considered this, a bridge between minds, between cultures. Yes, this has value. Trelvik was assigned to work with the humans. As a junior commander who had helped expose the purists, he was trusted by both sides. We will send ships back with you, said the Imperator, not for war, but for talk. Real talk with understanding. As the humans prepared to return to the Peacemaker, Yeonji spoke quietly to Trelvik. Our peoples are very different. Do you think we can really find common ground? The young Korax looked at her with his yellow eyes, now friendly rather than threatening. We already have. Your ship came alone against our fleet, carrying hope instead of weapons. That took true courage. 3 days later, the Peacemaker returned to Earth. It was not alone. 3 Korax ships came with it, carrying ambassadors and scientists. They entered Earth orbit peacefully. Admiral Tadwan Kim watched from the command center as the ships approached. I can't believe it worked, he said to diplomat Juri Park. One ship against 10,000. It wasn't the ship that mattered, she replied with a smile. It was the people inside it. They showed the Koraks who humans really are. On board the Peacemaker, Commander Do Hyun Yoon looked at his crew with pride. Earth is safe, and humanity has made its first true alien friends. Not bad for a single ship, said Lieutenant Min Seo with a rare smile. Earth had faced its greatest threat. The Koraks had readied for war. But humanity had sent a single ship carrying their greatest strengths, innovation, courage, and the ability to find peace even among the stars.